When it comes to sports in Lorain, your station to watch is TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television.
And welcome to 8th grade girls volleyball. It's the Southview team, that's the home team. Southview Middle School taking on Longfellow, and Southview will serve to begin this match. It's the best 2 of 3. We go to 25 each game, and we confirm that, and it will be that way. First serving into the net is Demaya Clayton, gives Longfellow a 1-0 lead. Rob Polinsky alongside Joe Bach. Miriam Engel, fifth-year head coach for the 8th graders from Southview. Her team is 4-3, and it's Michelle Hilko in her 3rd year for Longfellow. Her team 6-1, and the first time these two teams met, it was Longfellow winning in 2 games. So we're tied at 1 very early on in game 1, and serving is Alicia Ramirez. Ramirez serves it, and unable to get it over on the 3rd hit is Longfellow, but a great effort by Juliana Demacchia to keep that one alive, and Southview leads 2-1.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in on our YouTube channel. We're in high definition color.
You're not in black and white?
No.
Okay. Thought I'd check. Demacchia from the back row sends it over on the 3rd hit, and it went off the ceiling, and the point will go to Longfellow. We're tied at 2. And serving for Longfellow is Alana Coleman, an 8th grader, and her overhand serve, well done to the back row, played by Clayton, and unable to get it ahead. It's going to be 3-2. Longfellow takes the lead. Again, the serve, that one, let's see, is that wide or inbounds? It's inbounds. And a nice serve by Alana Coleman right on the line. Longfellow takes a 4-2 lead. Longfellow won our 7th grade match in 3 exciting games, although the 3rd game was kind of anticlimactic. They won it 15-1 after 2 really incredibly close first 2 sets.
Yeah, Longfellow came back in that 2nd set and just totally deflated Southview.
And then the serving of the 7th graders from Longfellow was outstanding in the 3rd game. It's Gabriela Gutierrez serving for Southview, sends it over to the Longfellow side. They hit it into the net. We're tied at 4 early on, game 1. 8th grade girls volleyball, best of 3. Play each set to 25, or each game, whatever you want to call it. Middle of the front row, hitting it over, a well-placed shot by Alina Mounts. Alina Mounts gives Longfellow a 5-4 lead. Longfellow on the right side of the net, Southview on the left. As you can tell, they all wear identical uniforms, but there is one slight difference, and that is the Southview young ladies have their numbers on their sleeve, and that helps us out. Longfellow does not have that. The other thing is, the way we remember, Joe, is that their coaches are directly across from them.
Yes.
Nice deep serve, played from the back row, sent over on the 2nd shot by Morgan Franklin for Southview. The Longfellow side, and they're not able to run it down. It's out of bounds, and it'll be Southview with a point. They trail 6-5. From the back row, Alana Coleman plays it ahead. Demacchia sends it over. Dug out nicely by Southview. Good rally here, but they went into the net.
Yep.
That'll give Longfellow the point. I think they lost an idea where they were. Tegan Vajegas went into the net, and it makes it 7-5 Longfellow. Substitution for Longfellow here in game 1. As we're going to have come in Kalasia Witherspoon. So Kalasia Witherspoon is in. She'll replace Phoenix Arnu. And Longfellow to serve. Just over the net. Sending it over is Alana Coleman. Back to the Southview side. Played over to Longfellow. Demacchia from the right side of the front row. Sent back over. Good rally, and Southview gets the point. And they cut the lead to 7-6 as Tegan Vajegas was able to get that over. Nice deep serve by Kira Swiger for Southview. Ball now on the Longfellow side. Demakia sent it over and she went into the net. That'll give the point to Southview. We're tied at 7.
Yeah, nice serve here.
As Swiger to serve. Kira Swiger sends it over, and again, Southview gets the point. They regain the lead now at 8-7. Kira hits that one deep with the overhead serve. Third hit for Longfellow. Putting it over was Ava Miller. Played here on the left side of the front row for Southview. Back to Demakia for Longfellow. Again, back and forth, much longer rallies here in the 8th grade match than we had in the 7th grade. And you'd expect that as you get older, the skill set improves. And longest rally by far. And that time unable to hit it over the net off the set of Jayla Kirksey is Longfellow. And it makes it 9-7 Southview. Swiger with the line drive serve that's sent out of bounds. It's 10-7. Southview with their biggest advantage here early on. And not able to hit it over the net is Longfellow. 11-7 Southview. Southview has now gotten 6 straight points off the serving of Swiger. And make it 7 points. You got to get it over on 3 hits. They weren't able to do so. So Demakia just caught the ball instead of hitting it because she knew it would have been the 4th hit. It didn't matter. Swiger again. Demakia off her shoulder and out of bounds. 13-7. 8 straight points.
Yeah, timeout.
For Southview. Timeout for Longfellow's 8th graders. And while they take the timeout, we'll remind you that you're watching WLCS TV 20. Spectrum Cable is 1025. We want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. As Joe Bach mentioned, nearly 2.8 million views. And social media, of course, TV 20 part of that. You can follow us on Twitter at LCS_TV 20. Check out the YouTube station, and that is Lorain Schools TV 20.
Yeah, we got something on our YouTube channel for everybody. We have current stuff. We have middle school, high school. We also have classics. We have all the graduations from 1985 to present up there. That includes Southview, Lorain, the old Lorain High, Stillman, Southview Saints, and as well as all Lorain High. So, and then classic games going way back into the 80s. Some even earlier. We have some film. So yeah, a lot of good stuff on TV 20.
No doubt about it. Swiger to serve. See if that timeout takes any momentum away from her. Not so far. She's able to serve it over. And on the 3rd hit, Demakia sends it back to the Southview Saints side. Playing that was Isabella Reddick. Reddick sends it back to Longfellow, middle of the front row. Again, they send it back to the Longfellow side, and they are going to get the point. As unable to play that was Alana Coleman. It's 14-7.
Yeah, timeout did not phase our server here.
No, that's 9 in a row for Kira Swiger. Great line drive serve into the net, 15-7. She is on a roll, Joe.
Sure is.
And you can see the confidence in that young lady. She doesn't take very long, does she, to go ahead and hit that. And that ends the rally as Demakia sends it over.
Great job.
Yeah, unable to play it was Reddick. And it's 15-8. Now Longfellow serving, but they've got an uphill battle down 15-8. Demakia, she has a good line drive serve. And be played. Southview side, middle of the front row, unable to hand it over was Demaya Clayton, 15-9. So Demaya Clayton couldn't send that over. And Juliana Demakia serving for Longfellow. And a good serve, kind of in between the defense there. Isabella Reddick tried to get to it, couldn't do so. And Longfellow is within 5, down 15-10. There's an ace, 15-11.
Wow. Game of streaks here.
Yes, sir. So, Demakia to serve. And nice job coming in, making that play.
Wow.
And sliding and hitting it over and getting the point was Kira Swiger, who served so well. And she just had one of the best points of the game right there, Joe, to give Southview a 16-11 lead. Sending it over and out of bounds was Vajegas, 16-12. So these young ladies, since they're 8th graders, next year they'll all move to the high school and they'll be vying to be part of the freshman team for Lorain High next year. The time it was hit out of bounds by Swiger, 16-13. Longfellow getting a little bit closer. Vajegas. And hits across court, unable to come up with it as Reddick. And all of a sudden it's 16-14. And it wasn't that long ago, it was 15-7 Southview. So since then, 7-1, Longfellow has outscored their rivals. And off the top row, and falling back on the Southview side, gives Longfellow a point, 16-15.
Yeah, timeout.
And we have a timeout, and this will be called for Southview's Miriam Engel, again in her 5th year as coaching the 8th graders at Southview. And let's take a look at both teams. Game 1, best 2 of 3 were from Southview Middle School here.
Rob, while we have a minute, if you don't mind me, so you've been quite the traveler this
September,
this fall here. For those of you who don't know, Rob does he's the voice of the Kent State Golden Flashes.
For football, yep.
Yeah, so you've been to Washington State.
We went to Seattle for the first weekend to watch them play Washington University, and then week 2 went to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Sooners, and then the final week of September went to Georgia to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. So 3 out of 4 weekends in September. I wasn't around, but a lot of really cool venues and great places to go see, and I was grateful to be able to go to those places.
Yeah, some great football too.
Yeah, it really was, and they surprised Georgia, I know, and as we've got a pause here, they'll replay it. And I think
in Oklahoma, you were down 7-3 at the half, and they scored a late. You were up 3-0 most of the half.
That's right. 18 seconds to go in half. It was 3-0. I took a picture of the scoreboard just so years from now I can tell people Kent State was actually had 3-0 in that game.
Yeah.
So 17-15 Southview with the lead. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And serving it will be Demaya Clayton. Clayton serving. Ace, 18-15. Tell you what, Joe, just the 1 year difference between the 7th and 8th graders. The 7th graders, most of the girls' underhand serves. I don't remember if we've seen an underhand serve out of the 8th graders yet for either team.
I don't think we have.
Clayton to serve. Her team up 18-15. Demaya, good line drive serve that's played by the left side of the front row into the net, and that'll be a point for Southview. 19-15. Ava Miller tried to play that for Longfellow, unable to do so. And Demaya Clayton and her 4-3 Southview team. Good line drive serve, back row. Demakia sends it right back to Clayton. Miller, and she put it right between the defense. 19-16. Good job, Ava Miller. Longfellow with the point, and now going back to serve is Kalasia Witherspoon. She'll underhand serve it, and can't get it over the net. 20-16. Seventh grade match. Longfellow won 2-1. We're in game 1 of our 8th grade match. Alicia Ramirez serving for Southview. Ramirez sends it over for Longfellow. That's Alina Mounts. And the shot went out of bounds. It'll be Southview point, 21-16, and we've got a substitution coming in. So again, Alicia Ramirez set to serve. Middle of the front row. And unable to get it over that time was Ava Miller or Alina Mounts, 22-16. And that serve won't make it over the net, 22-17. Longfellow needs a run right here if they're going to get back in it. Alana Coleman to serve. Her team down 5, 3 points away from the game 1. Demakia left side of the front row to Mounts, played by Southview, and just sliding into the net just ever so slightly, Isabella Reddick. Point goes to Longfellow. It's 22-18. And a point will go to Southview, 23-18. As Phoenix Arnu came back in, was unable to pass that ahead to a teammate or hit it over the net. And Gabriela Gutierrez serving and puts it into the net. That's a point. Make it 23-19, point for Longfellow. And that serve is well long and out of bounds. It's game point for Southview, up 24-19.
All right.
And serving to try to win game 1 is Isabella Reddick. Her team leads by 5.
5 game points here.
Yes, sir. Reddick takes her time, underhands it, deep of the back row. Mounts with the set, and that's going to be the first game to Southview as they win it by a score of 25-19. So Southview gets the game 1, 25-19. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back for game 2. When we come back, Southview will be trying to win the match, and Longfellow will try to send us to a 3rd game. We'll have that for you right after this timeout. You're watching 8th grade girls volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools television.
Inspiring city and campus. Inspiring people. Inspiring creativity. Inspiring hands-on learning. Inspiring global experiences. Inspiring traditions. Be a Buckeye. Inspire.
Can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Longfellow serving to begin game 2 of this 8th grade match as we have Ava Miller set to serve. As Ava Miller is set for Longfellow, and it is 25-19 19 in game 1. Southview with the win, and now we're set to begin game 2. Longfellow needs to win this to send us to a 3rd game, and should Southview get the win, they'll win it 2-0. And the first point to Southview's 8th graders. And they go up 1-0. And serving will be Morgan Franklin. Morgan Franklin set to serve, sends it to the back row. And for Southview, they send it over. It is Alina Mounts. Back to the Southview side. Southview gets the point. They lead 2-0. Hit into the net, 3-0. And for Longfellow, unable to play that ahead was Jayla Kirksey. She tried to, but hit it into the net. Southview leads 3-0. Again, Morgan Franklin this time hits it over the net, but wide out of bounds. It will give Longfellow their first point of game 2, and it's 3-1.
Questioning the score. The score's correct.
It is 3-1, right?
Yeah.
Well, they had issues in the 7th grade game, so I think that's why they're asking. But it is 3-1 Southview, as Coach Hilko came over to check.
Be ready.
Swiger sends it back to the Longfellow side. To the back row, unable to be played. It's 3-2. Longfellow gets the point, cuts into the lead. And serving will be Jazaria Henderson. Jazaria with an ace right between the 2 defenders for Southview. As that one went between Justice Johnson and Demaya Clayton. So we are tied at 3, and Jazaria Henderson will try to give her team Longfellow their first lead of game 2. Left side of the front row, sending it over was Coleman. And it's sent wide and out. It'll be point to Southview. They lead 4-3. And serving for Southview, Demaya Clayton. Clayton, a good line drive serve, played from the back row. And sending it over and inbounds. Nicely done by Alana Coleman. 4-4, we're tied. Line drive serve. Right side of the front row. Justice Johnson played that a couple of times. Nice job. Point goes to Longfellow. Must have been an illegal hit there. So it's 5-4, Longfellow with the lead. And now it's 6-4. As unable to play that was Liliana Noble. Middle of the front row, Swiger sends it back to the Longfellow side. And unable to put it over was Johnson. Longfellow on a nice run here. They have their biggest lead of game 2 at 7-4. They have scored 4 consecutive points since being down 4-3. And make it 8-4, 5 in a row. Morgan Franklin fell in front of her and behind Kira Swiger. Timeout on the court, and it is going to be Southview taking that timeout. Coach Miriam Engel takes the timeout. Her team down 8-4, 5 points in a row for Longfellow. Well, Southview leads 1-0. They won the first game of this 8th grade match, 25-19. In that first game, there were 4 ties at 1, 2, 4, and 7. But then Southview got on a good run as they scored 8 consecutive points off the serving of Kira Swiger, and that gave them a 15-7 lead that Longfellow would cut into. They cut it all the way down to 1 at 16-15, but they never could tie it, never get over the hump. And from 16-15, after they had their run of 8-1, it was Southview closing it out by outscoring Longfellow 9-3 to win it then 25-19. So we'll see what Longfellow can continue to do here in game 2. They try to serve to tie it at a game apiece, leading 8-4.
Great crowd here today, Rob. I was just panning the crowd. It's pretty full.
No doubt about it. Swiger slides over but hits it into the net, and Longfellow with the point. They lead 9-4. Top 9-4 from the back row. Demaya Clayton sends it over for Southview. Played into the net and unable to hit that one over with Vajegas, and it's 10-4. And we'll see, is that inbound? No, that's out of bounds. So Southview gets the point, and now that makes it 10-5.
Scoreboard's wrong again.
Well, unless I might have missed a point.
No, it's 11-4. They have it, so they gave the point to the wrong.
Should be
there
10-5.
Yeah, they corrected it.
And now Coach Hilko is questioning referee of where we're at.
That's 10-5. That's correct.
They're going to replay the point. I'm not sure what that is, but Coach Hilko questioning it. They'll replay the point. So Longfellow to serve. Swiger sends it back row, and there's a point for Longfellow. So they get that replay, and they take advantage to get the point, keep the serve up 11-4. And that's well played. Hit him in between the defenders. 12-4 substitution for Southview. Coming out is Morgan Franklin. And it looks like coming back in is Gabriela Gutierrez. So Longfellow with a big lead here at 12-4 in game 2. They've scored 9 consecutive points. Gutierrez, it went right to her. Played it off the side of her wrist and out of bounds, 13-4.
Yeah, make it 10.
10 in a row. Set out of bounds. And it's Viviana Chavez who has had all these serves. Finally turned around so I could see her number on her back. Viviana Chavez. Outstanding job with these serves, and as soon as I say that, she puts it into the net, but not before 11 consecutive points has given Longfellow a commanding 14-5 lead here in game 2. Justice Johnson serving for Southview. Johnson sends it deep, and that'll be a first point as it went off Jazaria Henderson. And out of play, 14-6. Johnson. Back row. Played ahead, nobody home, nobody talking. Ava Miller passed it ahead for her teammates, but nobody went to play it, so it's 14-7. Southview trying to get back into this one. Johnson with the serve. Chavez plays it off the top of the net. Swiger plays it, Johnson hits it, and that one will go out of bounds. Point Southview. And Southview now has scored 4 in a row, and they are cutting into the lead. They trail 14-8. Still got a long way to go in this one as you go to 25. 14-8 if your Southview is a heck of a lot better than 14-4.
Definitely.
And Justice Johnson serving. Again, sends it over to the back row. Chavez into the net, 14-9. And we're going to get a timeout for Coach Hilko and Longfellow. Take a look there, both teams. Coach Engel with her Southview team on the left side of the net. Coach Hilko and her team on the right side of the net. Again, they wear identical uniforms, gray tops, blue shorts, blue numbers, and with that white trim on the shoulders. But the difference is Southview's young ladies have the numbers on their sleeves, and you can barely make them out, but those small numbers on the sleeves help you out. Longfellow doesn't have that, so.
Well, I hope they got different uniforms for basketball, because that's coming up. That's going to be a problem.
That's true. We do have middle school basketball and all that good stuff. Not too far away, is it?
Yeah.
Now that we're in the month of October, you can probably gets underway in November.
Yeah, I think this year they swapped it up. I think the girls go first and the boys are second.
Okay, Justice Johnson the serve. Her team down 5. Johnson sends it over. And from the back row, they play it ahead. Nicely done, put it over the net. Justice Johnson sends it back to the Longfellow side. And for Longfellow, Kirksey sends it over. And the point will be Longfellow's, and it's 15-9. So Longfellow trying to even this up and give us a third game here to decide it. But Jagus for Southview. Left side of the front row jumped and just couldn't quite come up with it. Just over her outstreached right arm, 16-9. Alina Mounts serving. Mounts to Vajegas. And from the middle of the front row, unable to get it over the net that time, was Jayla Kirksey, and it's 16-10. Southview with the point, trailing by 6. And now it'll be Kira Swiger, who in game 1 served 9 straight points. 16-10, sends that one over. Gutierrez plays it, point for Southview. 16-11 they trail.
Yeah. Yeah, good person up serving, being behind, because like you mentioned before, she rallied quite a bit of serves in a row in the first game.
Yes, she did. Swiger, good, deep serve. There's a point off the ace, 16-12. The key to this for Swiger is just to keep it in play. Kira Swiger stands well behind the serving line, sends it over, and there's going to be another one as Alana Coleman couldn't play it. It's 16-13. If nothing else, Joe, she has gotten Southview back into game 2.
Oh, definitely. Southview wins this game, they win the match.
2-0. If Longfellow wins, then we'll go to a third game. Swiger hit it into the net, gives the point to Longfellow at 17-13. And now going back to serve is Alana Coleman for Longfellow. She does a nice job serving, but she hit that one into the net, gives it right back to Southview, 17-14 Longfellow. Liliana Noble serving for Southview. Her team down by 3. Noble serve, and that's going to be short, 18-14. Swiger from the back row. They play it ahead. Demaya Clayton for Southview is going to get her team a point as she sends it over to the Longfellow side. And it's 18-15. Southview's back within 3. We've gotten within 3 different times. This is as close as they've been able to get. And it'll be Tegan Vajegas trying to get her team a little bit closer right here with the serve. Substitution for Longfellow. Middle of the front row, Phoenix Arnoux back in for Longfellow. Serve, and from the back row, they're able to send it over. And Swiger couldn't play it. Point will go to Longfellow. They lead 19-15.
Huge point.
That was a big point. And Ava Miller serving for Longfellow, her team up by 4. Good line drive serve, nothing Swiger can do. 20-15. Longfellow 5 points away from setting us to a third and deciding game. Deep serve, and that one I think would have went out of bounds, but they didn't communicate. Noble tried to play it, and it's 21-15. Longfellow might have caught a break that time, Joe.
Oh, definitely. That one was heading out.
Line drive serve, that one's well out. They let it go out of bounds, 21-16. Serving is Gutierrez. Her team down 5. Gutierrez sends it over to Mounts and hits it at our referee, so that'll be a point for Southview. They trail 21-17. Middle of the front row, sent off the top of the net, point for Longfellow. And now you now lead 22-17. Vajegas to Swiger. Middle of the front row, Justice Johnson. Nice job sending it back over. Swiger just got it over the net and a point for Southview, and they cut the lead to 22-18. Serving will be Demaya Clayton.
Yeah, if Southview's going to win this is their time right now.
And there's the first point, as hitting it well out of bounds is Ava Miller, 22-19. Longfellow by 3. Demaya Clayton trying to get her team a little closer here. Late stages of game 2. Clayton sends it over and unable to play that over on the right side of the front row was Vivian Chavez. It's 22-20. So a substitution here for Coach Hilco, as coming back in will be Juliana Demacchia. Clayton will reserve. And sends it over, but out of bounds. Point to Longfellow. They lead 23-20. Longfellow 2 points away from sending us to a third and deciding match, or game. Or the match, I should say. Demacchia to serve. Her team 2 points away. Serves at an ace. Game point.
That can't happen.
24-20. Demacchia for the game, hit it into the net. So Southview is still staying alive, down 24-21, but they have to score 3 consecutive points to make it 24-24, because if that would be the case, you've got to win by 2.
Correct.
So 3 game points here in a row. Justice Johnson to serve, sends it deep, and there's the first one. It went off the shoulder of Phoenix Arnoux, 24-22. Southview won game 1, 25-19. They're trying to battle back here in game 2. Sends it deep from the back row. That one goes off the ceiling, and that point will go to Southview, because even though it fell on the Southview side, it went off the ceiling, Joe. So
that's right.
Southview gets the point. They're down 24-23. Johnson now. Good serve. Mounts. Played back. Johnson plays ahead. Demakia sends it back. Good line drive serve. We're tied at 24. Line drive saved by Clayton.
Wow.
Damaya Clayton makes it 24-24. Now Southview is 2 points away from the match. And serving is Justice Johnson. She has served 4 consecutive points. Johnson tied at 24. Sends it over. Played by Demakia. Back to Clayton. Clayton, middle of the front row for Longfellow, and unable to put it over with Swagger. Game point for Longfellow. They lead 25-24, and they'll serve for the game. And it will be Alina Mounts to serve. Southview down by 1. Longfellow serving. Mounts sends it over. Clayton goes to get it. Back to the Longfellow side. Played it over to Vajegas. Can't get it over the net, and Longfellow wins game 2. So the Longfellow 8th graders tie this at a game apiece, winning it 26-24.
Deja vu, maybe?
Yeah, we're gonna, well, except this one's going to 25.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Did you confirm that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So we are gonna take a timeout. We'll be back with game 3 right after this. 8th grade girls volleyball will continue. Southview and Longfellow are tied at a game apiece, and we'll decide it with game 3 coming up next. 8th grade girls volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
The Warriors to Work program makes it possible for wounded warriors and their families to build new lives together.
When my dad left, I was like this big, but now I'm like this big. My dad got a master's degree in human resources.
Thanks to Warriors to Work that my dad has a terrific job.
The Wounded Warrior Project helps him by, giving him another start.
Now that my dad's home, I get a lot more hugs.
I'm really proud of him.
Find out more about Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home, the brave.
I was the first woman ever to deploy on a Strategic Air Command deployment.
You didn't just serve your country.
I lobbied for women to be on board submarines.
You paved the way for others.
I joined the Army because I wanted a challenge.
And the challenges you face now? Your VA delivers a variety of benefits. Learn more, including how to apply online using e-benefits.
No matter what time it is, you've earned them. Apply today.
Damaya Clayton serving to begin the 3rd game. We're tied at a game apiece. This one will decide it. First one to 25. And there's the first point for Southview, Damaya Clayton. So Southview won the first game, 25-19. Longfellow was able to win game 2, 26-24. And now in game 3, it's 1-0 Southview. And off the top of the net, they'll get a second point.
Wow.
Unable to play that was Longfellow. And again, sometimes it's a game of inches, Joe, and that one was certainly.
Oh, absolutely.
2-0, Damaya Clayton to serve for the 4-3 Southview team against the 6-1 Longfellow team. These two teams met earlier, and Longfellow beat them in 2 games. There's an ace as it fell between the front row and the back row.
Is that what she told you?
Yes, that's what she told me.
It was 3 games.
Yep.
Yeah,
Coach Hilco told me they beat them in 2.
Yeah, she's wrong.
Well, that was Joe Bach, Coach, telling you you're wrong. I took you for your word. 3-0, another ace, 4-0. Let me put it to you this way. I wrote down that she said 1 and 2 games. She could have said in 3, and I still wrote 2.
That's all right.
I don't know.
But it was the same competitive
this
contest.
Phoenix Arnu couldn't play that, and Joe quickly, Southview immediately out to that 5-0 lead. And in the 7th grade match, it went the other way to Longfellow. But in that, when we went to game 3, boy, it was the quick serving for Longfellow. The coaches elected to play that one only to 15, and it was 15-1 and over in a very, very quickly. Justice Johnson for Southview sends it back to the Longfellow side. Clayton off the top of the net, and that time it fell on the Southview side. Point to Longfellow, it's 5-1. And Longfellow will serve for the first time in game 3, Ava Miller. Ava deep serve, but it goes wide and out of bounds, and watching that one go wide and wisely not hitting it was Kira Swiger for Southview.
Yeah, a lot more communication at the 8th grade level as well.
I would agree with that. That serve goes out of bounds, 6-2. Alicia Ramirez hit it out of bounds. Demakia sends it back. And Justice Johnson into the net, 6-3. Longfellow trying to battle back here. Juliana Demakia. Nice deep serve, and that's going to be a point as Ramirez, they tried to line drive that back over, and it's 6-4. So the quick 5-0 lead, but since then, Longfellow battling right back, and they're going to get another point as Clayton hit it out of bounds, 6-5 Southview. Quickly, a 5-1 run for Longfellow has gotten them right back into game 3. They trail by a point. Demakia to try to tie it. She'll send it over. Swiger can't get it. We are tied at 6.
Wow, just like that, back to even.
Juliana Demakia serving very well for Longfellow. Great line drive serve that Clayton does a nice job of getting to. Saves another one. Right side of the front row, Arnu. Back to Clayton, sends that well out of bounds, 7-6 Longfellow. Well, Longfellow with their first lead of the 3rd game. And it's Juliana Demakia serving. Demakia line drive serve that Gutierrez couldn't play, 8-6 Longfellow. Longfellow serves, there's an ace. And Longfellow, after falling down 5-0, now leads 9-6. And we're going to get a substitution for Southview. Coming in is Isabella Reddick. Reddick will check in for Alicia Ramirez. And Reddick goes to the back row, right side. And Demakia, see where she sends it. To the left side of the front row, another point. As unable to play that ahead was Tegan Vajegas. Super job of serving here by Demakia.
Yeah, how many has she served?
Oh, let's see. 5 consecutive points. 10-6, Justice Johnson sends it back over. Swiger did a great job of getting to it, but she hit it out of bounds. It's 11-6. Southview trailed 5-0. They've outscored, Longfellow has outscored them since then, 11-1. 12-1, and they lead 12-6. Heck of a turnaround here. And again, serving is Juliana Demakia. Again sends it over. Clayton right back. Again sent deep, nobody home, and it's 13-6. Clayton for Southview sends back over to Longfellow. For Longfellow, that was Alana Coleman who sent it back over to the Southview side, and the Saints get a much-needed point. And they trail 13-7, but Joe, 10 consecutive points. No, more than that. It was 6-1, so it was 12 consecutive points for Longfellow. And hitting it out of bounds was Phoenix Arnu, and that will give Southview a point. They trail 13-8. Down 5 at Gabriela Gutierrez serving. Her team trails 13-8. Left side of the front row, hitting it into the net was the Longfellow team, and that is Alana Coleman, 13-9. So Southview trying to come back in it with 3 consecutive points. Coleman again. That's sent deep. And they're not going to be able to run that down as Demaya Clayton couldn't play it forward. It's 14-9 Longfellow. Phoenix Arnu will serve. Her team up by 5. She serves from the middle of the back row. Or I should say beyond the back row. It's beyond the, it's just from the middle. Normally you serve to one side. Clayton sends it back to Longfellow. And it's played in between the Southview defenders, 15-9. Phoenix Arnu, her team up by 6. Sends it over, and Swiger hit it into the net, 16-9. So after being up 5-0, Longfellow has outscored Southview 16-4.
Wow.
Take a commanding 16-9 lead. Off the hands of Justice Johnson. Right now, nothing going right for Southview, 17-9. Phoenix Arnu. Nothing fancy, Joe, just sending it over, and right now Southview has come unglued defensively. They can't do anything. 18-9. These aren't line drive.
No, these are underhand big lollipops here.
But again, sometimes you just send it over.
Yeah, right.
Let the other, make the other team make a play. And Longfellow sends it over to Justice Johnson. Johnson right back. That goes into the net, and Southview gets a much-needed point. So they'll serve, but they still trail 18-10. 8th grade volleyball, game 3. We're tied at a game apiece. This one will decide it. Justice Johnson to serve. Johnson. And sends it over. Gutierrez with a nice job of sending that back over for Southview. And Southview Clayton put it over, but she hit it out of bounds. Point to Longfellow, it's 19-10. Well, serving for Longfellow, Alina Mounts. Her team up 19-10. And she won't get it there, and that'll be a point for Southview. They trail 19-11. And serving will be Kira Swiger. Overhead serve that went too far out of bounds. Well, that was a big one, Joe. They needed her to have some points served there. That time she hit it long and out of bounds. Her team trails 20-11. And now Longfellow just 5 points away from winning this, as Clayton will hit it out of bounds, 21-11. How about Longfellow, down 5-0 to begin, has outscored Southview 21-6 since that point, to be 4 points away from the match. Nice line drive serve. Gutierrez tried to get it to Johnson. Can't do so, 22-11. And again, serving Alana Coleman, doing a great job for Longfellow.
Boy, in both matches, Southview would go out to take the first set and
couldn't close them out.
Couldn't close them out.
So Longfellow's 8th graders trying to do what the 7th graders did for Longfellow, and that's win both matches this year against Southview, and they're 2 points away from it as Ava Miller just sent it over, and it's 23-11 Longfellow.
Well, they may see each other again in the tournament. They'll have the Lake Erie League tournament coming up.
Line drive serve. Clayton sends it ahead, right side of the front row. It'll be on the 3rd hit for Longfellow, right back to Southview. Clayton to the back row. Coleman plays it ahead to Mounts. Back to Coleman, and that will be a point for Southview, but they have a long way to go, trailing 23-12. Joe, all 3 middle schools would compete in that for Lorain? General Johnny Wilson, Longfellow, and Southview?
Right.
Along with the Lake Erie League tournament? Okay.
Exactly, yep.
Vajegas serving for Southview, and that will be a point. 23-13. Tegan Vajegas. Line drive serve into the net, match point.
Yeah.
Longfellow up 24-13, match point, and trying to serve it out, Jayla Kirksey.
Yeah, 11 match points.
And Swiger tries to save the first one, won't be able to do so. That's it. Swiger slid for it, and they hit it right where she was. Before the slide, Ava Miller came up and did a great job of putting that one away, and Longfellow wins it. Game 3, 25-13. So game 1 went to Southview, 25-19. Game 2 to Longfellow, 26-24. And in game 3, Longfellow wins it by a score of 25-13. Longfellow, Joe, they improved to 7-1. And for Southview, the 8th graders are going to drop to 4 and 4.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out today, Rob.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us. Enjoyed watching these talented 7th and 8th graders. And next year, the 8th graders will all be part of the freshman team at Lorain. And, of course, the 7th graders will move on to 8th grade volleyball a year from now. And, again, thanks to all the coaches and thanks to you for your help in getting us here. And as you mentioned earlier, I think the big thing today is what a crowd here at Southview Middle School is. There were a lot of folks here to take this in and support these young ladies and these athletes, and it was great to see, Joe. There was really this side here. It
was pretty packed. I'd say it was like 80% full. I mean, you had mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles,
grandma,
brothers,
grandpa,
sisters, grandma, grandpa, classmates. It was a good competitive match, and Southview hung in there, took the lead in both matches, but Longfellow came back to take the victory at both levels.
They did that. And again, Joe, thanks to you. Appreciate it. And want to remind everybody that 8th grade volleyball and everything else that Joe Bach and they do is a presentation of WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.